The sky turned black, the stars fell down. United we stand, but we're losing ground. One world beneath the iron fist. Voices silenced, they cease to resist. Echoes of hope in the darkening night. Fading whispers of a long-lost life. Rise up, hear the call to arms. In this storm of chaos, we'll find our charms. Together we'll fight through the ashes and dust. A phoenix reborn in our hearts' purest trust. The sirens wail through the desolate towns. Once proud nations painted in the scars of the crown. A single army marching on our dreams. Unity forged in despair, or so it seems. Nothing left but shadows drifting away as the last embers of freedom decay. Rise up, hear the call to arms. In this storm of chaos, we'll find our charms. Together we'll fight through the ashes and dust. A phoenix reborn in our hearts' purest trust. One global army, together we stand. In the fall of the world, we'll make our last stand.
That song just gets better and better each time I listen to it. I don't know what about it, but it's definitely the lyrics alone make it understandable that how we all have to literally fight together and work together as one, and not different colors and different religions. Um, it's amazing with all that today is going on. That's why I decided to give the program today a different name, calling it the Supernatural Sunday Morning Talk. Okay, and I'm interested in knowing and hearing about everybody's encounters, whether it's in the chat or whether we bring them on the show today. I want to know what's been happening in your lives. Give you each about 15-20 minutes to discuss it if you want. If you don't want to show your face, don't put the camera on. We can just hear your voice. Okay. But before we get into all that, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've been experiencing here lately. Okay. And a lot of it has been very, very unusual, to say the least. Eric can testify to that for me, because we talk all the time about it. But I'm going to get through the copyright disclaimer. All the intro and the outros are the sole ownership of Nighthawk and Nighthawk High Strangeness. There should be no copyright or strike issues on them whatsoever. They are solely owned and by myself. And everything that's on the podcast is basically all the pictures and stuff that I use. So there shouldn't be any strikes or anything against it. Okay, so YouTube, Facebook, behave yourselves. Anyways, copyright disclaimer is in case I use outside material that's not my own, the channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the fair use, which is the Copyright Act of 1976, which makes allowances under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and entertainment value for fair use. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to take that down and let everybody see Eric's and my bright, shiny faces this morning and put a couple things up. A couple things I want to talk about today. And good morning, everybody. I see everybody in the chat. What's happened here locally, where we are at? Some of the captures I had, you guys discussed, and I believe Eric discussed them yesterday too, a little bit on the show. But there's a lot more of that's going on here. There has been black unmarked helicopters flying over and staying over head for quite a long time. There have been single engine airplanes and 4-engined airplanes that are completely solid in color, no markings whatsoever on them, no descriptive on the tails, no numbers to distinguish them by. And just the other day, we had a pleasantry of somebody driving through and discharging a weapon, which I have video of on my phone from the evidence. But for some reason, when I transferred the information to the officer doing the report and the investigation on the discharge of the weapon, now it won't let me use that video for anything. I can't post it on social media. I can bring it up to watch on my phone, and that's about it. And it's just like a 6-minute video of me going over all the evidence that I found before law enforcement got there. So that being said, there's a lot going on. Nobody here was hurt. I can't really get into the specific details on it because of the alleged investigation, and I'm using that term very loosely, because it might involve a local couple that have some illegal, let's say, medication issues going on right now with their lives. Okay. So I don't want to get into all the specific details of it, but somebody said that locally that they were spotted, and and I'm gonna leave it up to the law enforcement community to do their job and to make America great again, okay, or at least a certain part of it. But that being said, with all the strangeness in the sky and all the supernatural activities, and I'm sure Eric popped this picture up of the orbs and the little person peeking through the window, and I realize it's kind of hard to see. Let me take the banner off of there, see if I can get the bottom part of that picture to show you the little person. You can see the color of his eyes, the glow from his eyes peeking through the window. That actually, its head is, and I said it yesterday too, before I had to get out of here, was about the size of a regular, like, metal jar cap of spaghetti sauce. Picture that diameter. That's about as big as its head was. Okay. It wasn't very big at all. So that's phenomenal that I was able to get that. Plus with the orbs. Okay, but that's not the only thing that we've been getting here locally. I'm going to put a couple more up here. The one that Eric showed with the red mist going into an orb outside, broad daylight. Okay, and it's not a bird. We do have birds here. By the way, we have honeybees here. We have butterflies here. We have hummingbirds here. We have robins. We have blue jays. We have all kinds of different birds here, including a bald eagle and a couple huge red-tailed hawks. We have foxes here. We have bobcat here. We have deer here. We have the occasional elk cry from the mountains, So, I mean, we have all kinds of stuff here. Okay. So I don't know where all this disappearing honeybees is coming from. Every day I go outside, I'm literally not trying to step on honeybees, you know? So, I mean, I don't understand where all these videos are coming from where they're not seeing any of this type of stuff because we have an abundance of them here. Okay. And
Yeah,
the only thing I
same.
can think of, it has to do with the vibration, that's the only thing I can think of. So, but that being said, yeah, we have a lot of weirdness going on. Here's another picture that I wanted to bring up. I circled it. Now, you can see back by the tree line, okay, that there is a shadow forming within the tree line, within the inside of the tree, okay? You can see the darkness of the tree, okay? Now, this distance is probably a good 120 yards, okay? So, maybe not, maybe about 100 yards, maybe about a football field away. But you can see that there is something forming, standing upright next to the telephone pole there. And judging from the telephone pole, that mist that is forming is roughly about 8 feet tall. Okay. Now, that's just one of the things. And that was just before sunset. Okay. That was, twilight hours that was forming. So, there's a lot of weirdness going on here, guys. And I wanted to talk to you all about it and see what's going on with you. Because this is stuff that I interact with all the time. And it's ridiculous. What about you, Eric? What do you got going on?
Man, I've got just as much, if not more, animals running around here along as insects, and of course, I've been getting some loud howls as of late, and hollers and hoops, and I got all kinds of stuff going on around here. But yeah, I didn't even hear about that until you told me backstage about the missing animals and insects. Like, I ain't had that issue. Things are thick as
Yeah, I
thieves
mean, neither
around
have we. Yeah, I can't understand how somebody can go on there and say, "Oh, it's," And then I heard today too, and this isn't supernatural. What I heard today, this is something that the World Health Organization put out. Okay, and we all know we can trust them. Not. They put out that there's 33 countries currently that have a cholera epidemic. Okay, and to me, I'm just curious as to what 33 countries they are, because even though we are not part of the World Health Organization anymore,
Thank God.
we still help them out because of our CDC. And I can't help but think how those 33 countries that have these outbreaks are probably countries that are like less fortunate than some of the major entrepreneurial military powers of the world, if you know what I mean. Probably third world countries, okay, like maybe Vietnam or North Korea, you know, other Polynesian
Mhm.
islands, stuff like that. I mean, they didn't release which countries. Okay, so and I just heard about it this morning, and it just makes me think that how much certain bloodlines have control. And it kind of correlates with what's going on supernaturally too, because of course, this world, and we talked about it a little bit backstage too, Eric. I don't know how you feel. Maybe we can go more in depth with this with everybody else. I'll put the link in the chat if anybody wants to come on and talk about their encounters. But what about the possibility that we are seeing all of these insects and the birds and the wildlife and the honeybees and the butterflies and the hummingbirds and the deer and what else that are disappearing other places? What if we're seeing them because we're at a higher vibrational frequency than those other places? What if we've actually shifted partially into another dimension, and that's why we as certain individuals are having so much interaction with the supernatural? What do you think about that?
Yeah, man, it's possible. Definitely possible. I don't can't say for sure, but can't rule it out either. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, you know, there's definitely a possibility. It does fit with the puzzle. There's also, it's like, well, we grasping too far too. So
All right.
it's it's one of those situations. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't, if you believe in it. But like I say, it's possible, definitely possible.
Right.
Or it's just something happened in that environment and them locations which caused them to go away, but they're not here. Like last deer season. So last deer season, I was having record numbers of deer showing up, and then come deer season, they're gone. But prior to that, 2 weeks prior to that, we had an early rut, and that's probably the reason why we didn't see deer. Now, I always heard reports all over Missouri of people going, "Man, we're just not seeing a deer like we used to." They went in rut 2 weeks early, so they were probably spent and all rested from the bone chicka wow wow that was going on. So we have to factor that stuff in as well. So it's crazy. I did see something odd last week when I was at work. And this is something I think I maybe have only seen one other time in my entire life, and that was a doe that had two young fawns still in spot. And I'm not talking about they're growed up. I'm talking about they weren't born very long ago, and that's really late for deer. Like
Yeah.
very, very late for deer.
I
So I'm
saw the
like,
same thing.
what?
I saw the same thing just last week too. There was a fawn here that
Mhm.
still had the spots on it. And
Yeah,
that is unusual, very unusual.
yeah. I was like, damn, girl, you got late. uh, guess I'm a walking sound effect, buddy.
Like there
But
was
no,
that
I mean
guy,
that's
the
you don't
guy
see
off
that.
the police academy.
Oh, yeah, but yeah, no, and that don't happen. Doesn't happen from time to time. Yes, could that have been like a doe that went into her first heat and she just got bred late? Yeah,
Right.
that is definitely the possibility. Um, but that is something that doesn't happen very often. Normally, they go into heat when the other ones do. So I'm like,
Exactly.
okay, so this is telling me two things. Not only did she go into heat late, but there was another rut that we didn't know about because she got bred.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, she was a nice doe, two beautiful little fawns, but I mean they were little and had spots. Um, yeah, same here, Ray. I mean, yeah, this was last week for me. So that makes me wonder is so we, I don't know how it is for everybody else, but here in Missouri, our ecosystem is returning back to normal, or I should say, our weather system is returning back to normal. In fact, we're actually early. We're getting a lot of fall weather now that we normally don't get until mid to late September, push in early October. We were getting it in towards the end of August.
I
So
think that's
we're about
because
3 or 4 months early.
I think that's because of the geoengineering, though. I really do.
Well, it's the reverse geoengineering. So the chemtrails that they were putting out, and you can't say shit anybody because yes, it is fact. The government did talk about it. You can find tons and tons and tons of video on any platform you want where the government said, yeah, okay, yeah, we're putting this up here to try to protect ourselves from global warming. That was their excuse for all these damn chemtrails. Now, a certain individual, we're not going to mention a whole lot of names on there because I'm not trying to get this channel in trouble, has been reverse geoengineering, and we're starting to see our climates return back to normal. Now, here in Missouri, we have all 4 seasons, and we have a healthy 3 months of all 4 seasons. So, is the early fall presence a reaction of the counter geoengineering, which is throwing it off?
Okay.
Scientifically,
I got something for all my Missouri residents there, Roxanne and Eric and anybody else that's in Missouri. Griff, if you're listening, maybe you can even come in and chime in. There has been a lot of talk on YouTube lately about the whole fault line going through Missouri into Arkansas, and how the
biggest
Arkansas, the National Guard is prepping for this natural disaster, and how there's hundreds of earthquakes every week happening in the Missouri area. Have you all ever felt anything?
So there has been some oddness in the air, and I've heard them talking about there's been small rumbles. Now, the New Madrid fault line, which is the fault line you're talking about, is the largest fault line in the world. The last time it went off was the late early 1800s, and it ran the Mississippi backwards for 3 days and rang the bells in Maine. It is literally the largest fault line in the world, and it's the New Madrid fault line. That is supposed to have went off, several years ago, but it has never done it. Now, have we had earthquakes we felt from Oklahoma? Yes, in which I'm a firm believer that's due to fracking, because the main source of it was an area they were fracking from. And we felt them here. I mean, I got shooken in my bed at my uncle's cabin down in Pineville. And I thought it was my girls trying to wake me up, playing, messing with me. And I mean, I was like, leave me alone, girls. Let me get a little more sleep. And I opened my eyes up. My girls weren't there. Well, I come to find out when I woke up later on, it was an earthquake that hit Oklahoma City area. And yeah, I mean, we've had those. Now, that same fault line does run through Oklahoma, if memory serves me correctly. I believe it does run through Oklahoma. But if it only affected Oklahoma and not us, that would tell me again that it goes with that fracking situation that's going on. Fracking's a cool deal, but what you're replacing, what you take out with, you're just causing disaster to happen. There has to be a better way to do it.
Spray foam.
So,
spray foam.
Something, dude. They're throwing wastewater and stuff like that in there. I was like, that's not going to help it. Then you're lubricating the damn thing. Do something better than what you're putting in there. I like the idea of fracking. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against fracking. I'm just against what they're using to replace what they take out, because it's not the same density. So when you take a thing of an opposite density than what you're taking out, and an opposite substance, then you're going to have a negative reaction. So there has to be better ways of doing what they're doing.
Right.
But yes, I mean the scientists been predicting that the New Madrid's fixing to go, for the last couple of years, and every year they're getting a little bit more and a little bit more excited about it. And which, if it does, we're screwed. We're screwed. We may be okay where we're at here, where I'm at here in the Southwest Missouri part. We're still going to feel it, but we're not going to drop off like a lot of people will more on the eastern side of Missouri. So we have to consider that. Now, could that be a cause of the animals acting differently? Absolutely. That
Yeah.
absolutely. Can that be a cause of some weird feelings and sicknesses that people are getting? Yes, that all that is tied to a massive quake happening. People think of California when they think earthquakes. Yes, they're on the Pacific Ring of Fire, so they get a lot of earthquakes. Theirs ain't near as massive as ours is. Theirs is just more frequent than ours is.
Right. And I gotta say too that that it's a sad world today that we live in. When we got to take a Geiger counter to a supermarket to test the food to see if it's radioactive from coming out of the ocean. I mean, it's ridiculous to think that, and to me, a lot of this from my research over the years into the whole fear factor syndrome and how they control populations in countries with it. That's why they have the USAID organization, air quotes, working for the government, air quotes, of other countries to better them, air quotes. The fear factor plays a big role in how to manipulate and to coerce populations into conforming to either a government's will or resisting a government's will and supposedly conquering evil that's threatening the government of a country and the people of a country. Unfortunately, that program is much more in depth and dark than what they lead on to believe. But I believe that a lot what's going on today, and a lot on social media, especially YouTube, and this is my opinion. I'm allowed it. So bear with me. But it's my own opinion, and from my own research too, looking into this whole fear factor syndrome. When people saw the demon faces and stuff like that, that these are programs that have been brought forth over the last 60 plus years and really tested on populations in America, Canada, and Mexico. Okay, for the most part. And with places like USAID, they can expand on the whole world with those same programs. And I'm talking programs like MK Ultra, Operation Popeye, all this different type of stuff, Looking Glass, anything to manipulate or to cause fear. And we all know that when we're dealing with the supernatural, we're dealing with something that primarily gains energy and vibration off of people's fear. And when you have that fear instilled in you all the time, your frequency is going to drop very low, and you're not going to have the ability to do certain things and to move on. Their whole purpose of using the fear factor thing, in my opinion, is to basically make humanity conform to their will, to keep them cycled here within this illusionary world. Okay, and it is an illusionary world.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in plastic, Corey says here a lot of plastic containers manufactured in Japan. are the big reason for radioactivity contaminants. That's why I'm trying to go back to glass and stainless as much as possible. One of the reasons why I bought the glass hummingbird feeders, not only because I like them and I think they're absolutely freaking beautiful, but a part of it is that as well. I drink mainly out of stainless steel. It's not just the radiation that Corey was talking about. It's because the plastic particles, that dust particles that's in that stuff, gets in your system and clogs it up as well.
Exactly. Now, does anybody want to come on for 15, 20 minutes at a time and talk about their own supernatural encounters? Because I really want to hear what's been going on with everybody else. And like I said, you don't have to put the camera on. You can just leave your mic on, and we can you don't have to be ID'd or anything. And nobody's going to make fun of you. Trust me. The first moment that somebody does, we will shut them down. Okay. So anybody that wants to talk about certain situations that have happened, whether it's angelic, whether it's dark, demonic, whatever. As long as it's pertaining to the supernatural in some way, shape, or form, I really want to hear what's going on and hear about the wildlife and the honeybees and stuff like that in your area. So anybody that wants to come on, please feel free. I'm putting the link in the chat again. I already put it in there earlier, but I'm going to put it in there again so you all have it. There we go. And the link is in there. Anybody's hair's gotten pulled, anybody's seen an angelic being, anybody's seen an orb, anybody's seen, anything supernatural that you think has manifested itself to you or interact with you or your family or a family member that you've heard of in a certain situation. Feel free to come on. And we'll take everybody on for like 15, maybe 20 minutes and let them talk about their encounter. And we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay. Come on, Dad. Let's go to 5, 5, come on, for the 50 minutes. Come on, lives. Come on, let's go.
Eric speaking in tongues.
Arriba. Hey, Daryl. Yeah.
Hey, Daryl,
yeah,
good to see you.
man.
Yeah.
I'm shy. Ray, you're not shy. Come on, man.
Oh, come on, Ray. Ain't nobody gonna pick on you. You don't even have to turn the camera on, brother. Seriously, you don't. You have the choice of turning the camera on or keeping it off, okay? Just keep your microphone on. Okay?
No. Yeah, we know you mean Bigfoot, Roxanne. I've noticed that my boyfriend.
I know a lot of people in the chat have supernatural things happening with them all the time because I talk to them in Messenger. And if anybody wants to come on and let us know what they got going on, ain't nobody going to make fun of you. I disclose my stuff all the time to you guys, including stuff that isn't even paranormal or supernatural or cryptid. Like what happened yesterday. So, exactly, and it's, if I'm willing to share it to the world, then, you don't have to turn your camera on. You can leave it off and just come on and share it to the world and get it off your chest. And we'll see what we can figure out happened. Okay. Corey, if you want to come on and talk about something too, that's fine too, brother. Okay. You're more than welcome.
Yeah.
You got all kinds of
I want to give another shout out to Corey. Thank you for coming on and help me when William had to get off yesterday, bro. Hey, we got former AKA Ray. Welcome
There's Ray
to the stage.
Hey, guys.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
So what you got going on there, man?
Well, I told Eric the other night there, we had a situation out there. I got spooked by it. And we had a dark shadow figure go from trailer 10 by the dumpster. And it went down the middle of down the driveway. And you could see where it was on the ground, where it was at. And I'm there looking up at the street light, seeing if anything was in the street light, and it wasn't. You could see it moving right on the ground.
Huh.
And it was about.
Did it have any type of physical characteristics other than maybe on two legs, or?
It didn't have any legs, but it was hovering above the ground. It was about maybe 6 foot tall.
Hmm.
And at the same time, I mentioned this to my mom last night, and she says she thought she had an experience too, that she thought I was in my room. She saw a dark figure inside the trailer coming from my room.
Let me ask you this, Ray. Has anybody in your area nearby where you lived passed away recently, or within the last year or so since this activity's happened?
Not in the last year or two, but when I first moved in here about 7 to 8 years ago, there was a drug overdose, and a lady died in the trailer 10.
Okay, so do you think that possibly activity happened and the shadow figure started being seen after that incident of at trailer 10, or
yes,
was it occurring the whole time?
Multiple shadow figures in the inside the trailer and outside the trailer. I ended up having my friend there from Minnesota, from the Leech Lake Indian Reservation, who's a shaman, come down all the way from there down to Kentucky there to bless my house.
Good. Yeah, you definitely want that. And I'm sure you know about the smudging and all that, and how to basically
he did that too.
Keep the negative entities out of your house. So yeah, just as long as you keep that up, you should be personally safe. Now, like I tell everybody though, smudging is not a cleanser. Okay, it's a cleansing agent that's used, but you have to use it over and over and over again. It's not something that's, once you do it, it's going to permanently fix the problem. Okay. When I go out on paranormal investigations, I tell homeowners and property owners that every time, because they're under the impression that if you smudge one time, everything's going to be done and gone. And that's not it. Okay. Smudging is a way of we as indigenous people use to cleanse ourselves spiritually of all the negativity that's on us and around us and in us. Okay. We take the smoke from the sage and cedar and sweetgrass, and we take it within our lungs. We pour it like water over our body, and we have others take and we put our arms out and they do the smudging around us, from head around our arms and around our legs and our feet and everything, And I was always taught to do it 4 distinctive times in a clockwise manner. Okay. And when you smudge your homes and stuff to help out with the supernatural problems, you want to go 4 times clockwise around the door and 4 times clockwise around the windows. Any place that there is a physical opening within your home to the exterior, you want to smudge it 4 times clockwise to, cleanse it. Okay. And to make that protective barrier around those areas. And then you do the entire inside of the house from room to room. But yeah, cleansing is a way, smudging is a way of cleansing things temporarily. Depending on the severity of the problem is how long the negativity is going to stay away. So yeah, Corey, definitely clockwise is the way.
Yeah, because when we had that situation there with the dark figure right where my mom was sleeping there, I felt the great disturbance in the. I'm sensitive to. I'm a psychic medium in training, and even when I'm just a low level medium, I felt the disturbance in the living room, and that's when I called my
Yep.
friend up in Minnesota.
Yep. And that's something too that I've noticed too. A lot of people lately have been their gifts as far as being able to interpret supernatural things have been growing exponentially over the last couple years.
Yeah,
And now that the veil is, I don't think the veil is thinning, guys. I think the veil is gone. Okay, I do. I think it's done being thin, done being torn. I think that veil is completely washed away. And now we have what I call the shadow realm that's in between each dimension or each parallel world is bleeding into our lives. Okay. And that's
it
why
is.
we're having so many situations. Um, I don't know how anybody else feels, but that's just what I feel, Ray. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's hard to explain, but I believe what you're saying is true. I discovered that when a friend of mine there from Chicago, Illinois, called me up. She astral projected herself and saw my phone number on a notepad, and she called me and told me that I have the ability to sense things beyond the realm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she was teaching me how to focus it even more. And the last few years, it's gotten really intense.
Yep. Yep. Well, as far as the shadow being that you're dealing with, it's a reoccurring thing. Is it always reoccurring in the same location or locations, or is it like different every time?
It seems to be different each time.
So it's definitely an intelligent haunting, basically, is what it is.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be classified as residual like a recording being played over and over again at a certain location. So that tells me that it's probably linked to a tragic event that happened there, or maybe
Yeah.
somebody was messing with some kind of a Ouija board or something to open something up to coming in to that area where you guys live. So
Or something could be brought in by an object that somebody got from someplace else.
exactly, an attachment. Yep, or an attachment to a person that moved in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never thought of
Uh,
that.
yeah. I do have a question for you, William. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this one. You're talking about, you do it 4 times clockwise. Do you do it the same way as you pray and you start off the east, south, west, and north, just like you pray in the Great Circle?
Exactly. Exactly. You always want to start with the east and go towards the west, okay, in a clockwise motion. Okay. And now the way I do it and the way I was always taught to do it by my elders and my medicine people that taught me and taught me how to do things is I always use my left hand. I never use my right hand because my left hand is connected to my heart. Okay. It's a direct line from my hand to my heart, from the smudge and the smoke to my heart. Okay. So when I do the cleansings, I always use the sage or the sweetgrass or cedar, whatever I use. Juniper is another good one, by the way. Those of you that have juniper around you, dry it out a little bit, put it in an old tin coffee can, and put like a wooden handle on the coffee can and use that. Oh my God, juniper is fantastic for smudging. Okay, literally.
You just
Um, but yeah, you always use your. I was always taught to use my left hand because it's connected to my heart. Okay, and when you do it, you got to do the smudging in a good way. You can't do it being negative or angry or scared or fearful, because those are all negative vibrations that bring that medicine cleansing down, and you don't want that. You want that cleansing to rise up and vibrate so high that nothing is going to be able to come through. Okay.
Yeah, I always did it from starting the east because that's what I was always felt was the right thing to do because it's the same direction as prayer, it's the same direction as guidance, same direction for everything because that's part of the great circle of life. You know, east,
Hold
birth,
on, I got to
south,
sneeze, guys.
childhood. No worries. West, adulthood, and then north, old age and death. So that's why I've always done it that way. Now I didn't know the left hand thing.
Okay. Sorry, I had a
Zoom
sneeze
tight.
coming on. It was a sneeze cough. Yeah, it's it's one thing to have the capability of cleansing and smudging your home or an object or yourself or a friend or family member. But most people, when they do it, they have a tendency, if they're not used to how it's done and been taught how to do it correctly by a medicine person, then they're going to think that the problem is solved with one time, and it's not that case. You can't. You see, the supernatural is, how do I want to say this without sounding anti-Christian? Okay, because I'm not anti-Christian. I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ, by the way. Okay, so take that for what it's worth. But even he had special abilities, even if he was just a man doing supernatural things, or if he was the true creator spirit within him doing supernatural things. We all have a certain ability, okay? But if we're not taught the right ways to use those abilities to fend off the negative and evil energies that surround us every day, it can get confusing for people. So when you have people that aren't taught the right way to do it, to purify things and to erase negativity, they're just going to end up causing more problems for themselves than what it's worth. And they're going to open up a possibility of that entity or that being to become more aggressive and more negative. If they think that it's going to be a one and done smudging thing and that's it, they're going to be in a world of hurt, because there are a lot of energies out there, negative and evil, that can come back even stronger and more willful to harm people that don't know these ways of doing things. And you can put as many crosses in your house. You can flick holy water around your house as much as you want. But you see, most professional people that are trained properly will use every aspect that they have to battle and cleanse for paranormal. Okay, in other words, you can use holy water in combination with smudging. Okay, all you're doing is you're not erasing one from the other. You're combining the efforts, okay, and blessings to get rid of the negativity. Okay, so you don't have to really worry about one way fighting the other and creating more disturbance than what there is, because it's not going to happen. People that are Christian oriented, Catholic oriented, or Baptist or whatnot, they want to use crosses and holy water. That's fine. That's their genre. Okay, that's where they get their faith from. Their spiritual essence is formed and foundationed in their faith. Okay, and based on their faith in their religious purification process with holy water and crosses, that may work better for them than smudging wood, which is a Native American way of doing it. Okay. But then again, people that are Native American that are Christian can combine both of them and use both of them without a problem, because they both work in conjunction with each other. It's not gonna negatively affect one or the other. It's just gonna make them both stronger working together, which is, by the way, what you know who in the Bible that was walking around for 33 years of his life in the flesh tried to teach humanity to work together and to not live in fear and to separate themselves from falling to the falsities of this world through unconditional love. So, you know, it's the same teaching, the same principle. Okay. So we need to continue that, you know, and I just think that a lot of people, when they deal with the supernatural and they get all this negativity stuff in their house or on their property and they smudge one time and they don't know how to do it to begin with, and then they assume that just because they did it one time, it's a one done deal, that they're never going to be bothered again, is wrong. And I want people to realize that it's wrong. You don't want to assume that anything is permanently gone. You constantly want to do it. It's like when we take out our medicine bags and our bundles that we wear around our necks, and we take the items out every month, at least every 28 days. I'll remove the stuff from my personal medicine bag and I will cleanse them with the sweetgrass, and I will individually pray over each item and put it back in my bag. Okay. And then I'll smudge the entire bag with all the items in it and wear it. So, you know, there is much to be said about the proper way of doing things.
Yep.
Okay. So Ray, I really, you know, I hope you go really far with learning with your abilities, because I can see right now that you have a certain way about you spiritually that is definitely going to bless the rest of the people around you. And I would urge you and keep up the good work, brother, because you're doing phenomenal. Okay.
Thank you.
Don't let the negativities of this world or what's happening in it bring your vibration down. You keep your vibration up, your frequency high, you stay positive and stay strong, and you are going to do some good things, bro. I guarantee it.
Thank you.
Eric, you want to continue with anything, or
No,
we're
I mean,
going to
that
bring Melissa on here next.
All righty. I got to get off anyway because my phone's about to die.
Heck, it ain't no good.
All right, brother.
Well, thank you for coming.
All right, Ray. Thank you for coming on, brother.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Hope to do this again soon.
Definitely. We're going to get you back on here again.
All right. Coming to the stage, Melissa with the hair pulling. I'm keeping an eye on you so David don't pull your hair this time. I know it's got to be him. He was using his Jedi powers to pull your hair that time. I'm keeping an eye on him.
Well, no, David usually kicks her in
Hello,
the shin
can you hear me?
I'll hear you.
I can hear you, yep, through your own device.
I thought I would talk about my hair pulling.
Okay, good.
Go
Yeah,
for it.
definitely.
About 2 years ago, I that's when the initial incident occurred, correct? And I was sitting here, we were actually waiting for William's podcast to come on for the nighttime.
Sure, blame William.
That's weird. Okay. I know. But I was, let me turn around because it's freaking me out seeing myself on TV. But yeah, I was sitting here at the dining room table and David was over at the computer. We were waiting for William's podcast to come on. And Luna was kind of walking around. She actually alerted on it too as it was happening. You'll see in a video that's posted on my YouTube channel. It's also on David's YouTube channel too. But I was sitting there and all of a sudden I felt somebody mess with my hair. It felt like they tussled my hair. And I mentioned it to David. You can see it in the full length of the video. And it freaked me out. It gave me goosebumps, everything. I'm like, what the? You'll hear some foul language in the video. But I got up and was looking around. I could, it wasn't no fly. It wasn't anything like that. No stink bugs, no nothing. But Luna, she even kind of alerted to it as it had happened. And I was certain it was caught on video because we have some cameras set up in our living room so we could keep an eye on Luna and our other dog, Scarlet. So the next morning, David did not believe me, but the next morning I decided, oh, stop that. But the next morning I was determined I was going to try to go through the video and find it. And I did end up finding it, but after David came over and kind of took control, he was afraid I was going to break his little square thingy that has the memory card. And he found it and he looked at it. Quit your laughing, William. I see that. But he was able to enhance it to where you could see what looked like a little white orb that kind of entered on the right side of my head. And you can see that part of my hair kind of go up and then it swoops over to this side and it literally just raises my hair up and then it's gone. Yeah. So I don't, we spoke with William on it and stuff and he gave his suggestions on what he thought it was, but I don't know if you want to go ahead and tell your suggestions again of what you thought it was, William.
Well, I'm
to this day, we don't know how to explain it, but we do have paranormal activity here. We have someone named Henry that also likes to play little tricks on us from time to time. The younger girls, our step granddaughters at the time, they called him Henry. He's supposedly a really tall man with like a top hat, sort of like what Abraham Lincoln had, the type of black hat. But I will shut up now and let you talk.
No, it's it's good. I want you to talk about it.
I can't hear him.
I wish we could upload the video. So
I still have it.
No, you can't hear me.
To dig it up and upload it.
Okay, we're gonna.
Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel, the Shenval Girl channel, and it's also on David's Virginia Cryptid Paranormal.
Well, we don't want to talk about David.
I think I still got it on my email if you want me to.
But if you have it, Eric, go ahead and upload it.
I'll check it out while you guys talk.
All right, thank you, Eric. Yeah, we'll see if he can get that up here so we can see it. I actually watched it a couple times and quite a few times actually.
I can't hear anything.
I even looked to see if maybe David connected like some small fishing line or something to her hair to do it. Because can't trust David because David's sneaky. He knows how to pull things off, and no, I couldn't find anything. So, but yeah, I mean, it's not a negative thing. It's not a negative thing. Oh, it's okay, bro. I still love you. But it's and it's not a negative entity. That's what I first and foremost felt when it happened. So definitely don't assume that it's negative. It's not in any way, shape, or form. It's a prankster. It's a joker is who it is. And you're going to continue to have little weird things like that happen. Taps on your shoulder, You know, misplacing your eyeglasses or your car keys, certain small things that you put and you you like to have around you. You're going to find out that they've been relocated mysteriously, and David didn't do it. Just all kinds of different things are going to continue to happen because he's a prankster. You know, that's all he is. You know, he doesn't mean any harm by it. That's just the way he lived his life. He wanted to make people laugh. Because he's a prankster. That's all he is. He doesn't mean any harm by it. That's just the way he lived his life. He wanted to make people laugh.
I see someone in the group chat. They're asking, how do I know his name is Henry? All this started a few years ago.
Yeah, that's true, man.
How do I know his name? We had gotten a set of bunk beds several years ago from a friend at work where we both worked at. And it wasn't until after we brought the bunk beds home and started having some weird things happening that we questioned Lori about it. And she then told me that her grandkids, who had the bunk beds at the time with her daughter's house, and it is on audio. We do have an audio of the kids talking about him, about Henry. Supposedly he was hanging out in their living room area. The kids did not feel comfortable there, but she also said that after we took the bunk beds, her kids did not say anything else ever again about Henry, the tall man with the tall black hat. So we assumed he was attached to the bunk beds for whatever reason. And when it was brought to our house and put in our house for our step granddaughters at the time, then he started hanging out here.
Right. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I urge anybody that that if you haven't seen that video yet, you might want to check her out on Shen Val Girl YouTube, and where she has it posted, and check out David's too, his YouTube. You should be able to share the link to those in the chat. So let me see here. I don't think
so. I don't have it. I guess
I
I
have
deleted
the
it.
link
I thought it
with me. But anyways, you
yeah,
know, I can attest, and I'm sure Roxanne can
And I would
too,
also
and
like
Eric
to
can. We
mention
watched
that
the-
because of our
You're getting a delay because of the other computer.
Go ahead, William. Go ahead, William.
It's all you now.
Okay, David's trying to pull it up on his site. I think he's going to try to see if he can post a link because right now I don't have access to the group chat with the live feed. What I wanted to mention is that people can, those spirits that have passed on, they can actually attach to inanimate objects. They can attach to anything, furniture, watches, jewelry, dolls. Dolls are a big one because they're so they look so much like the human body. You have to be careful when you go to thrift stores and you go to flea markets and auctions and stuff and purchase this stuff because it can have an attachment to it. And then when you bring that item into your home, you're welcoming that attachment into your home unknowingly, and then you're going to start having issues. We found that out with the bunk beds. When I go to thrift stores and stuff, I stay far, far away from the dolls because sometimes when you walk by the dolls, certain ones will just creep you out. I don't have anything to do with anything like that anymore. And Sometimes if you touch certain furniture and stuff that's old antique furniture that you know came from an elderly person who recently passed away and you've seen it in the papers or whatever, you'll get a different vibe. At least I do. You'll get a weird feel to it, and you just nope, not going that way today. But I just wanted to bring that out for people to be cautious when they do stuff like that, because you can invite evil into your home and not even realize it.
Yeah. One thing that I teach people to do.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. We could hear
No.
you. One
That's
thing that
because
I
it's
teach
connected to the
people
mic.
do.
That's why. You have to turn the volume up on that. There.
Yeah, one thing that I teach people on a regular basis to do is before they even accept anything, okay, a gift, before they buy something, I tell people to take their hand, their left hand, close their eyes, and hold their hand over the object. And if you feel a connection to the object, then it's fine to be brought into your life, okay? If you feel any negativity or any really hot burning sensation on the palm of your hand, or some kind of like negativity, don't accept it. Don't buy it, because what you're going to do is you're going to bring that negative entity that's attached to that item, whether it was living or non-living at one time, into your home, and then it's going to attach itself to your home, okay, or to you, and you don't want that. So take your hand, your left hand. That's all you got to do. When you go to a flea market, before you pick up an object, just put your hand over it, keep it a couple inches above the object, okay? Okay? And just close your eyes and get a sense and a feeling for that object, okay? Whether it's a piece of clothing, whether it's a knickknack, whether it's, anything, furniture-wise, especially furniture, old games and stuff like that, anything, and just feel the vibration coming off of it, okay? Close your eyes and get a sense and a feeling for that object. And if it feels acceptable to you, you're going to know. Okay. If it's negative to you, you're going to know also. So I urge everybody to try that before they pick an object up, because as soon as you pick that object up, you're making a connection to that object, and you're giving that negative entity a chance to attach itself to you. And then when it gets attached to you, you take it to your home and it attaches to your environment. Okay. It's a vicious cycle. And until we learn the right way to maneuver around that possibility of having that supernatural attachment happen, this is just one way to curb that from happening. So, but I hope everybody, can at least try that and see how it works for you,
I don't know if you guys heard me or not, but I don't have that email anymore. I thought I did, but I don't. Last one I got was from David, and that was that that audio clip.
Okay. No, David's still looking for it. So, and Scott, it's good to see you in the chat. By the way, it's been a long time, brother. It's been a long time.
If you
I
find
want
it
to thank
again,
Urso and Roxanne too in the chat.
My bad.
I'm hearing all kinds of feedback.
Yeah, I am too. I think it's because of the TV. David, if you find it again, just email it to me again, then I can upload it. David, if you find it again, email it to me again, then I can upload it.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of here so someone else can have the opportunity to come in. Okay. Okay.
All right, Melissa. Thank you.
So someone else can have the opportunity to come in. Okay.
That's so freaky.
That's funny.
Oh, he's eating scrambled eggs. I had to eat Hardy's monster biscuit combo this morning because I overslept. I didn't get to bed till like 2:30 because I was up working on stuff, and then I slept through my alarm. Was running late to get Yessie to go work, so I just stopped at Hardy's, got a monster biscuit combo and a coffee, and was hauling butt up there and hauling butt back.
Anybody else want to come on and talk about what they've got going on? Feel free. If we don't, then we're going to probably go ahead and just close it out within the next 10, 15 minutes and go about our day. And tonight, it's going to be myself and Bigfoot Dwarf coming on at 11 p.m. tonight. And we're going to be talking about Bigfoot and the UFO and orb activity that's been going on with some of the sightings. And just to, see what his thoughts are on it and what everybody's in the chat's thought of it, happenings and stuff going on with Bigfoot sightings and orbs and UFOs. So that's going to be tonight at 11 p.m. Just a short little 45 minutes to an hour, type of a podcast. So if you're interested in that, check us out. And, Jacob's been having a heck of a problem with ear mites. And I don't know if anybody else's dogs or cats have been having problems with ear mites, but they have been overwhelmingly a problem for Jacob. And even though she treats him every day with the ear mite stuff, they seem to come back and back and back, even stronger than before. So, let's see. Okay, so Virginia Cryptid and Paranormal Research, David. We'll bring it up on YouTube. Okay. Yeah, I can't get out of this and into my YouTube information to pop it up, but I can definitely put it on tonight.
If I do, then I'll have to leave the chat and everything. But I mean, I can try it.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'll just do that. I won't be able to talk for a bit.
Anybody else want to come on then and talk about a supernatural encounter they had for about the last 15 minutes of the program? I'm going to put the link in the chat again so you can come on.
What the hell? I was unsubscribed from David's stuff, so I have to resubscribe. Wow. YouTube struck again.
Yeah, don't figure, huh?
Yeah. I think this is one. Let me watch this. I think this is the one. If it is, I'll save it and download it. Yep, this is it.
Urso, if you want to come on and talk about anything for the last 15 minutes, or Marcy or anybody, let me know. The link is in the chat. I put it in there a couple times. I gotta get out for a second here. Hold on. I got a bad cough coming in.
No worries. Yeah, I found it and I'm trying to be able to divert it so I can download it. Give me a second, guys. I'll get to your chats here in a moment. I'm right in the middle of something. So I'm trying to get it done. So I apologize. I'm not getting to your chats right off the bat. Okay.
Man. Oh, I just had a coughing fit. I couldn't freaking get rid of that cough. Damn.
Oh.
All right. Well, I think we'll just go ahead and Ray, I'm glad we're gonna have Ray back on too sometime soon. And David and Melissa, I want to get together with them and maybe even do and videotape a paranormal investigation locally here. See what we can come up with, what our techniques are compared to everybody else's. Maybe the covered bridge would be a good one down south between David and Melissa and myself. I think they know where I'm talking about. I'm just going to say it's down south, kind of in between both of us. The covered bridge. There's been a lot of. In fact, there was a young Hispanic woman that was found there from the D.C. area that a certain affiliated gang disposed of her unalived body at that location. So a couple years, probably about a good 15 years ago now. So, but yeah, it's never good. We have a lot of the bigger city stuff coming out this way and dropping things off. That's why yesterday morning concerned me so much to get off the podcast. So
Yeah, David said the covered bridge is now private property.
But they don't own the road. How can they own the county road that goes through there?
Unless they got it annexed. If they got it annexed, then they can take it back over. You can't annex it from the county. Especially if you're like the sole person that lives on that road, you can actually take it back from the county.
Well, I know a couple other places we can do an investigation that wouldn't take very much.
Said the road is fine. A lot of restrictions in place now.
Yeah, because I did a lot of the Cherokee water ceremonies down there in the little river down below the bridge. Several, probably about now more than 6 years ago. I used to do Cherokee water ceremonies down there for people to blessings and stuff like that.
So
get the negativity out of their lives.
This thing-
So,
this thing's being a pain in the ass at the moment. So what I can do is I'll go in there, I'll screen share to here. That way we can play the video. It's just being a pain in the ass.
okay.
So let me get back to it. Okay, let me pause it. Share screen. Okay, here we go, folks. This is that video we were talking about with David and Melissa. There's not going to be a sound because I'm having to screen share this, so we'll have to watch it without sound. Here we go. It's about 2
Watch
minutes,
for
9
your hair to
seconds
be
long.
pulled.
And you guys can go to their webpage and see this yourselves. And but yeah, you can see the hair come up. Not a whole lot of it, but you can see it come up.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I want to thank everybody for coming on today. I want to thank Eric for being here today. Thank the moderators in the chat, everybody that's in the chat for being here today. David and Melissa, we're going to get together and do a paranormal investigation. So let's go ahead and just plan that. And that way we can videotape it and get it out there for everybody to see how we do things. And how I interact with it too. Before I don't have a chance to do that again. I want to thank Corey for coming on yesterday and helping Eric out because of the events that happened here, which I really can't discuss. But, I gave you all information in the beginning, on how to perceive it, what's going on. But all I can say is they're going to investigate it, and we'll see what the outcome is, if any outcome. We all know how the world is today. So keep your faith, keep your strength, keep the negativity away, keep your good vibrations up, so you don't get trapped in this illusionary world, and question everything, guys. And tonight again at 11 p.m. Eastern, it'll be me and Bigfoot Dwarf coming on talking about Bigfoot and the UFO connection and orb connection. So you can join us then. It'll be about an hour long, so it won't be very long. But it'll definitely be a good one. And Eric, why don't you go ahead and tell them what you got going on today before we close this out?
Yeah. So tonight, so there is some technical difficulties going on. As of right now, it's still planned. My good brother and his paranormal team called One Foot in the Grave is supposed to be joining me for ghost hunting. That would be today's show. If something happens and they can't get that technical difficulty fixed, then I'll have to reschedule theirs, and I'll probably start early on the truth behind nursery rhymes. So I've been doing a lot of research on that. I haven't finished it because I've been sidetracked. But if push comes to shove and their technical difficulties ain't fixed, then I'll just end up supplementing for that. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed they can get that fixed. That's what I got going on today. I've still got, paranormal evidence to go through. I still got a book to write on. I'm just busy day. Plus I got to get my bike worked on. So got a lot going on. But yeah, that's so far, that's what we got planned for today.
Good. Everybody, I want to thank you all for being here and being in the chat and sharing your ordeals and encounters with the supernatural. And I look forward to next Sunday again, because I suspect that there's going to be quite a few people that have had, since they've talked about it, might have something else happen throughout the week. So I'm looking forward to next Sunday talk again. That being said, everybody be safe, stay happy, keep the negativity away. Smudge clockwise 4 times around the windows, the doors, the home, the property, 4 times clockwise, and speak that negativity away, okay, and keep the evil away. And like I said, you can combine it with holy water if you're Christian or not, Catholic. It's not going to put one out or the other, okay? It's going to work in conjunction. So don't feel that it'll deter from one or the other, because it won't. And we'll see you all tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern. Myself and Bigfoot Dwarf. Okay? Take care, everybody.
Peace, love, and blessings, everyone.
Through the mist we rise, a force unbroken, with banners high and hearts awoken. The sound of pipes, our war is calling. Like thunderous waves, our duty is falling. Stand tall, together we fight, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity our hearts shall sing, the legacy of warriors through every reign. With battle cries we forge our fate, in fields of valor we elevate. As shadows loom, our spirits gleam. Brothers in arms, we are the dream. Fearless, we take the night, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity, our hearts shall sing, the legacy of warriors through every reign. As dawn breaks, we know our name.